Coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for Mediaplex Friday Live. I'm Zachary Balog.
I'm Riley Livingston.
I'm Ksenia Semenova.
And you are in for a half hour of news, views, commentary, and maybe a few laughs.
On today's show, Crime Stoppers will join us.
We talk downtown Windsor.
The sports guys, plural, make a triumphant return.
And your leap year questions are answered.
And all of this and more on Mediaplex Live.
Zach has the latest weather forecast for us. Is it going to be sun or snow?
They say March comes in like a lion, but all is quiet in the weather department. Expect sunny to partly cloudy skies today with a high of 8 degrees, and now that 3-day forecast. Saturday, mainly cloudy and a high of 12. Sunday, sunny, a high of 17. And on Monday, sunny and a high of 21. Break out those shorts.
Ooh.
That's the weather. Make sure you join me for Weird News, where a Willy Wonka experience goes horribly wrong. And oh dear, all that and more coming up at the bottom of the show.
Here is Constable Sarah Werstein with our weekly Crime Stoppers update.
The Windsor Police Service is currently investigating a suspected arson that caused approximately $1 million in damages to 2 new Amherstburg homes. On February 16th, shortly before 6 a.m., officers responded to an active fire in the 700 block of Elliott Point Road. A newly built home was engulfed in flames when emergency crews arrived. The home was fully destroyed in the blaze, and the roof of a neighboring residence sustained significant damage. The fire is being treated as suspicious. The structure was vacant at the time of the incident, and no one was physically injured in the blaze. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Windsor Police Arson Unit, or should you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers by calling us at 519-258-8477, or you can submit a tip online at catchcrooks.com. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Windsor residents could be seeing more red light cameras around the city. Dale Kabukian tells us more.
10 additional camera systems are planned to be installed in the city this year. According to the council meeting on Monday, these additional camera systems will be installed in 296 signalized intersections. The councilors say the key reasons for installing red light cameras are to reduce collisions, change camera behaviors, and increase road and pedestrian safety. The first 10 red lights were installed in 2022 in intersections including Wyandotte Street East at Goyo, Wyandotte Street at Olette Avenue, Howard Avenue at Easy Row, and University Avenue West at Crawford Avenue. Behind the Wood Bar store is a business near Wyandotte at Olette where a camera system is installed. Janet Simpson, one of its employees, says having more red light camera systems in downtown would help change drivers' behaviors.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't direct the business directly, but it does affect me as somebody who works downtown directly, right across from the red light cameras. There's a couple of intersections where people, due to construction, weren't paying attention to how things were originally.
According to the council meeting, the locations of new cameras will be selected through consideration based on analysis of recent collision data and a review with the Windsor Police. For the Mediaplex, I am Dale Kabukin.
Our Saloni Shohan sits down with Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino.
Today we have Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino. What is your stand on the warming bus initiative in Windsor, sir?
I think it's a fantastic idea, and thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I think the warming bus has been a great initiative. It's only 3 days old now. And in those 3 days, we've already had close to 70 people use this transitional overnight bus that has been keeping people warm and really bringing services to the people that need them. So I'm very happy to see it taking place.
Why do you think this kind of initiative in Windsor is important?
Well, there's all kinds of different initiatives that are important for sure, but this one in particular is important because it is helping our most vulnerable population that needs a warm place to sleep and needs a meal and needs connections to different resources.
Yeah, sure. And what kind of changes are you hoping with this initiative?
Well, I'm hoping that this initiative gets people off the streets. and gets them to places that they need to be, because, it's you can't have people sleeping outside or sleeping on sidewalks or sleeping on benches. The people deserve better, and this initiative helps bring them to those better places.
How can you summarize your message?
I guess my summary would be, that we've got to meet people where they're at, and we've got to try and bring services to the people that can't get to those services, whether it's because of a distance or a disability or a mental health situation. I think what's most important is to get help to the people and get them to the help they need.
Thank you so much once again. And we have been enjoying Ward 3 Councillor Ronaldo Agostino. For Mediaplex News, I'm Saloni Chauhan.
It was fairly mild for this year's annual Coldest Night of the Year fundraiser, but as G2 reports, it still helped bring in some much-needed money.
The downtown mission in Windsor exceeded expectations Saturday night, raising a record amount of funds for the coldest night of the year event. Residents united to combat homelessness and hunger, raising $100,000 in the process. Executive Director Raksini Ponian Golin expressed gratitude for the community's overwhelming support.
Really good. This is our 10th year doing it. It's a great event to bring the community together. We've had a lot of walkers sign up this year. We had, I think, over 240. We had amazing support from sponsors and local businesses, which has supported the event as well. And it's just a great event to bring people together and raising funds and awareness for the work of the mission, providing food, shelter, and hope to people who are homeless and hungry and hurting here in Windsor, Essex.
Funds will directly aid those in need, providing essential services like shelter and meals. The success of the event highlights Windsor compassion and resilience in helping people experiencing homelessness. For Mediaplex News, I am G2.
Every day is a holiday here at the Mediaplex. According to Ksenia, what do you have for us today?
Today is March 1st, and it's St. David's Day from Wales. He is known for making miracles like bringing back passed away child to the life and restoring the sight of the blind. Let's congratulate our David Harrison, radio and podcast professor at St. Clair's College. He's also one of our miracle workers.
Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you,
It keeps us on the air.
March 2nd is Dr. Seuss Day. He celebrates today his birthday. And did you know he began his career first as a journalist from a college magazine? March 3rd, National Canadian Bacon Day. I think no comments are needed, and I think I would do this day every day as a holiday, especially maple bacon. March 4th, do something motivational day. Start restoring yourself after the winter. March 4th, towards it. March 5th, Unique Name Day, and I am so happy being surrounded by people with such amazing names. I'm sorry that sometimes I even spell or pronounce them not properly, but we need always try to do our the best. March 6th, Dress Day. Did you know dresses officially became a fashion thing, not just a regular necessity in 14th and 15th century? Of course, during many decades, many people applied something special to the silhouette of its design. One of the most famous dresses we have now is a little black dress inspired by Chanel and a white short dress by Marilyn Monroe. Of course, there are dresses like Lady D, wedding dress that looks like a huge marshmallow, and many dresses inspired by Audrey Hepburn with Hubert Givenchy. Stop me, please, because I love talking about fashion. And March 7th is a World Book Day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ksenia. Students at St. Clair College were called together for their graduation ceremony. The 56th convocation was held at the Chrysler Theater last week. Aman Patiar reports.
Following this academic year, college president Dr. Patricia France will retire, and more than 300 graduates will accept their degrees and certifications from her. Mehari Hagos was awarded with an honorary degree in applied arts in social justice and legal studies. He says he grew up in a rough neighborhood and made it his goal to give back.
We came to Windsor, Ontario, where we grew up in Glengarry, this small community downtown, and at 11 years old, 12 years old, I was, witnessing a lot of crime. I remember walking home from Bagley, I got beat up by a police officer. He punched me in my face, and I went home and told my mom.
Students can now step into the real world in their chosen field of study. All the students were feeling proud of themselves, including Aditya Singhania, an event management student at St. Clair College.
It was really nice to be here today on our convocation. We all passed together and it was such a great journey. We all loved the journey and now hope for the best for our future. Thank you so much to be here.
For Mediaplex News, I am Oman Patiar.
The power of storytelling was on full display at a new event last week. Elliot San Abun has the details.
Diane Barakat and Lauren Bodie hosted the first of what they're calling the Great Story Swap. A story swap is when a group of strangers get together and write about each other without knowing anything about each other. Diane Barakat explains more.
This kind of puts you in that position where you can actually write about perfect strangers in a room and they can write about you. Everybody here is going to go home with a character development booklet, so we all have to develop characters about each other and write them into stories. This whole concept was actually a dream of my friends, and we're like, you know what, let's make this a reality. We had no idea how it was going to go, and we couldn't be more proud of the turnout.
If you're a writer and want to join in on the fun, keep an ear out because they plan on doing more story swaps later this year. For the Mediaplex, I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
You know, it's funny. I actually do something like this. Like, I'll sit at the mall and I'll try to pretend what people's lives are like.
You're making up stories in your head.
Exactly. So I would be down for this. Anybody wants to do it with me, I'd be down. With Leap Day right around the corner, or it just passed, Jesse LaRouche has a couple of questions.
In 2 days, it's Leap Day. And did you know we had one every 4 years? And the reason we have one is to correct the orbit of the sun so we don't run out of days. I didn't know any of this either. I had to Google it. So let's see if others are as clueless as I am. How often do leap years happen?
Every 10 years?
I believe every 4 years.
Every 4 years. Do leap years have anything to do with frogs?
They probably do at some point.
Maybe the name's influenced?
No, they don't.
And if you were born in 2000 on Leap Day, how old would you be right now in leap years?
6, I think.
What? 24.
Pretty old, I think.
And why do they happen?
Because we decided that we need to do it.
To add a day, so we can have more time, and also maybe the sunlight or...
Well, I know scientifically we add a day because there's that year it takes a little bit more time for like the sun to orbit. Like I think it takes like 5 extra hours. So if we don't add that extra day and account onto it, it would have moved our seasons back. And within 700 years, we would have had summer starting in December. So I know that that's why we had to move them.
Well, as you can see, I'm not the only clueless one, but at least somebody knows what's going on. For Mediaplex News, I'm Jesse LaRouche.
Thanks, Jesse, for that hard-hitting journalism.
Whoever said pretty old who had been born in 2000, I am deeply offended, okay? We are back at it with a report from our sports guys Cam Segan and Jesse LaRouche. Go sports!
Welcome to the Sports Guys. I'm Cam Segan.
And I'm Jesse LaRouche. Well, football offseason means 2 things. Staring at the wall on Sundays and players finding new homes.
And selling their homes. After 2 disappointing years, Russell Wilson already looks to be on his way out of Denver. I genuinely can't believe how laughable his time there was. From let's ride to the end.
If and when the Broncos do cut him, they'll still owe him $50 million. That's pretty much saying, hey, Russ, this is how much we don't want you around. Imagine spending that much money on something you don't use. My mom would kill me.
And on the other hand, you got teams that don't know when to move on. The Steelers announced that they have full faith in Kenny Pickett.
How you have full faith in a man who has 13 touchdown passes in 2 years is beyond me. But hey, what do we know?
Well, Jesse, what I do know is that Kenny Pickett sucks. And Mac Jones does too. That's why the Patriots announced they are looking to move on and snag a quarterback in the first round.
Hopefully they draft a bust, because I'm not trying to see the Patriots back in the playoffs for a long time.
Different sport, but another team I don't want to see in the playoffs after that choke job last year, and, well, many years, is the LA Dodgers.
In his first game as a Dodger, Shohei Ohtani cranked out a home run, just adding salt in the wound of every Blue Jays fan out there.
I feel that. But one team I am hoping to see in the playoffs is the Toronto Raptors. Since the All-Star break, the Raps have been playing like they're possessed by the ghost of Kobe Bryant. Sure, it's only 3 games, but I'm feeling good about this.
You're feeling good about 22-37? Couldn't be me. In my opinion, those playoff hopes are dead.
Just like the Spitfires, they can't seem to get the wheels off the ground.
You're not wrong there. With last night's loss to Flint, it seems their playoff hopes are as officially as tainted as Flint's water.
I mean, how many blown leads can we have this year? We look like the 2016 Falcons out there, but every night. In the biggest game of the season last night, we blow a 2-goal lead.
You can't win when you can't close games, and that seems to be a big issue for the Spitfires.
At least we have the OHL draft lottery to look forward to, where the Spits will likely be landing a top 3 pick. And hopefully with that pick, we bring in Brady Wasslin. That's it for the sports guys. I'm Cam Segan.
And I'm Jesse LaRouche. See you next time.
The St. Clair College women's basketball team has qualified for the OCAA semifinals. As Vatsal Karasia reports, it was a dominant performance that got them there.
St. Clair beat up on George Brown in the OCAA women's basketball playoffs on Saturday, winning by a score of 87-53. The Saints jumped out to 25-16 lead in the first quarter and never looked back. St. Clair's number 3, Kathleen Overeem, lead the team with 34 points.
It kind of just happens, but we always have a plan when we go out, and we want to, put the pedal down, and we want to score what we can and limit their points. So, like the spread just kind of happened, but we were really dialed in on what we need to do today.
In the final quarter, George Brown managed to take 12 points against 11 for the Saints, but it didn't matter as they had a huge lead of 34 points. Jasmine Davis scored 16 points for George Brown. The semifinal will be played on March 2 at Lambton Keister Group Athletics and Fitness Complex, with St. Clair taking on Algonquin. Saints head coach Andy Kiss says they will begin preparations for that match.
Well, we're going to scout our next opponent, which is Algonquin College, a real good team on the east side. We'll stick to our process. We'll scout them hard, and we'll prepare for them. But, we have goals. Our team has goals, and we're on the way.
For Mediaplex News, this is Vatsal Chaurasia.
Cam Segan is back with another look into this year's NHL Draft.
It's time for part 2 of our look ahead to the NHL Draft. With Greentree, Spellacy, and Cristoforo all pretty much locks, there are multiple other Spits who have a chance to hear their names called in June. Cole Davis is at the top of the list. In November, Cole Davis became Goal Davis on his way to winning OHL Rookie of the Month. He's the type of player who's always willing to get into the dirty areas. He's not the biggest guy by any means, but his offensive instincts, motor, and underrated physicality more than make up for it. He's found a home on the top line with Greentree and Abraham post-deadline. All 3 are eligible to return next season. On the back end, Carson Woodall is turning into a very nice two-way defender. With 21 points in 45 games, he blends that offensive ability with a really responsible defensive game. He may be the team's best two-way defenseman as soon as next year. A much different player archetype is Joseph Eichler. He's not going to hit the score sheet too often, but I can guarantee he's going to hit somebody on the opposing team. Perhaps the best on the team at laying someone out, it's all the more impressive when you consider he's only listed at 6 feet. If he was a few inches taller, he'd be a no doubt about it selection. And if I had to guess, I'd say one of these players mentioned are NHL drafted this summer. All of this talk about the draft is to illustrate how young the Spitfires now are. While they have found their footing late in the year, they look to be in a great position for the future because of how much production they bring back next season and beyond.
Zach is back with his segment, Views and Reviews. What new show should I be putting on my watch list?
It's that time of the show where I talk about all forms of entertainment, new and old. Time for Zach's Views and Reviews. Well, today I'll be talking about a TV show that everyone should be watching, and that is Abbott Elementary. That's right, we head right back to school with the series revolving around a group of grade school teachers trying to do their best in a school That's clearly trying to fall apart, as are we here on the production side. Anyway, this series is shot documentary style as part of the series, as the series is actually shot from that point of view. And this show is hilarious with our main character, Janine, trying to do her best to keep for her students, which just because she can doesn't mean she should. This show is hilarious, and the best part about the series is always the constant breaking of the fourth wall, and the characters' side eyes are equally just as hilarious. The show is family friendly and very bingeable, so I encourage to watch it with your youngsters. I give it 4 Z's.
Thanks, Zach. Ksenia's got a new recipe for us today. Let's hear it.
Luxe and affordable. I love fresh fish, especially salmon. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to buy here fresh fish and to eat it directly, so I will tell you my secret about how to salt it and to consume it for your breakfast. I found that in some stores they sell chunks of salmon for price less than $5, so I wash it in a cool water, can even leave in the ice cubes for a while, 10-15 minutes. After drain it, put in a Tupperware. If it's around 250 grams to 400 grams of fish, you take a tablespoon of salt and 2 teaspoons of sugar, rub it in together and leave in the fridge for a night. I also sprinkle with some black pepper on the top just because I love it like that. Prepare fish this way can keep better, not more, for 3 days in the fridge. For me, it's like 1-2 days. Seriously, it's so tasty. And in the morning, just prepare toast with butter, put some salmon on it, maybe some avocado, and bon appetit.
I don't know who can do. I don't know if salmon is the kind of meat for breakfast.
It's good for you. It's great.
But again, just because it's good for you doesn't mean you really should do it.
Can you call it meat?
That's a great question.
That is another question.
That's
for
another
another
debate
day.
for another day. That's a Let's Talk debate. Speaking of which, it's no secret that we're a chatty bunch, clearly, which is why we gather to talk about the issues that matter. Here's our segment, Let's Talk. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Let's Talk. I'm here with my power panel.
Ksenia Semenova.
I'm Riley Livingston.
I'm Pauline Bunyai.
And I got a question. Are you ready for some football? Ooh. Well, the Super Bowl was last Sunday, where the Chiefs faced against the 49ers to see who would take the trophy home. Last week, it was reported that the game was the most watched telecast in history, with over 123 million viewers. Now, there were a lot of wholesome moments, such as, commercials, the halftime performance, and all I gotta ask is, what'd you guys think?
I wasn't in this 123 of millions people.
You didn't watch it?
I don't know nothing about football and sports. For me, it's like Super Bowl. Why it's a bowl? Like, I told about you guys before. For me, I imagine a Super Bowl of ramen.
Okay.
So yes, it's like Super Bowl, but I understand that for millions of people, it's the most important moment in their year. What's happening, especially with all the celebrities that were there. Mm-hmm. More than 30 celebrities, I think, were there.
Yeah. It's a pretty big deal.
For some, it's like the most important moment in their life.
Yeah, some people, especially if that's the player's first time going to Super Bowl, thousands and thousands of dollars for tickets, right, to go see it. I thought it was good. I didn't see it at the beginning because I had to work, so I was like rushing home to go see it. But I thought it was a good game. I normally don't really follow the football game, but I can follow the football game, so it's an interesting game to follow. And then I really just watched for commercials and halftime show, which I thought were pretty good.
Yeah, I have to say, I enjoyed the whole aspect of it, even though I went to Twitter to get the highlights, but I loved the Super Bowl commercials, especially the Twisters movie trailer, which was so good. I felt like I was transported back to 1996, and it was just great. I mean, Taylor was there.
Yes.
I mean,
she was the talk of the evening.
Let's be clear. That's why I really watched it, because Taylor Swift was in attendance.
Yes, with her whole little group of friends. I saw Blake Lively. I saw Lana Del Rey.
Ice Spice.
Oh, yes, she was there
She was
too.
there as well,
Yes.
and you could clearly see like they had to explain to her what was going on.
And my mom was wondering who gave Taylor Swift like the crash course in football, because she seemed to know exactly what was happening when it was happening. Like, did she follow football before? Like, somebody had to have like sat her down and explained this is what's good and this is what's bad, right? Like,
Yeah.
like because there's very complicated plays that happen. And you don't know whether you're supposed to be like happy or sad, or like you don't know if they're winning or not. Like,
So
it's hard to
smart on
understand. She seemed to know exactly what to do. So I was like, somebody's coached her.
Somebody in her orbit of people coached her. And what really got me was soon after it was revealed that she and her family, they went to the club afterwards to celebrate. I'm like, that's the last place I want to bring my parents is to the club. I can't have them doing this. Like,
Why? She's Taylor Swift. She's Taylor Swift, so she can take anybody who she wants anywhere.
I think her
I don't
mom is
know, I think
always
there's-
supporting her like this on the backstage.
Yes,
you know?
maybe.
So it's
What about you, Pauline? What did you think? Did you watch the game?
Well, for me, I thought I've never watched a Super Bowl never before, and I know that like I was in the house and everyone was so attentive to the TV, and I was, what is going on? And when I go to the living room, they say like Super Bowl, la, la, and oh cool, and I go to see, and the only thing that I see is a bunch of shots from Taylor Swift, and I'm like.
That's normally not what it's like.
normally no.
And I was like, what is going on? So we started playing Uno.
Yes.
And from the hearing, I heard something like, I'm Michael Cera. And I was like, going to the TV. I went to the commercial and I saw this Michael Cera commercial. It was hilarious.
Yes. Sarah V.
I'm Sarah V. Ha ha ha. And I started like laughing. But it's very cool. I like the commercials because I know that someone told me that they invested millions of dollars in
It's like
every
$1 million
commercial.
per 30 seconds for Super Bowl
Seriously, for the
commercials.
commercial of the
Yeah.
cream?
For the commercials
Yes.
of the Super Bowl.
Any Super, not just that one, but
No,
Super Bowl
for-
commercials,
for all
because
of
there's
them.
so many people watching. There's like $1 million per second to air it on television.
Like-
So they pay millions and millions of dollars to put these commercials out there. So that's why they're such a
Think
big
we could get this on at the Super Bowl? We need publicity, please.
don't think so.
That's this week's episode. If you want to chime in, you can comment down below to join the conversation. And if you want to see the full episode, you can head over to the Zach Tech Productions YouTube channel. Until next time, keep talking to each other. Bye.
Zach, back for all things weird. What have you got this time?
Well, it's Friday, and that means it's time for the weirdest news found on the internet. Time for weird news. My ancestors' music is now associated with weird news. I'm sure everyone is familiar with Firefest. Well, this is the Scottish version. A Willy Wonka event in Glasgow, Scotland called the Wonka Chocolate Experience, which just so happens to be me after Taco Bell, was billed as an immersive experience turned out to be a less than stellar event. The event was held in a poorly decorated warehouse with 4 to 5 props, a few jelly beans for the kids, and the saddest Oompa Loompa imaginable. In a now deleted social media post, House of Illuminati, well, there's the problem, which ran the event, said, "We fully apologize for what has happened and will be giving full refunds to each and every person that purchased tickets." Better get some happy pills for that Oompa Loompa. Time for the weirdest news stories out of the Great White North. Stories that'll make you say, "Oh, Canada." Well, oh dear. That's what many LaSalle residents were saying when video surfaced of a deer breaking into the pool at the Volmer complex. I love when it's local. The incident occurred last Sunday, and video showed the deer running through the window and taking a dive into the pool. It only took about 10 to 15 minutes before the deer was ushered out to safety. That deer just cost the town a few bucks. Well, that's the weirdness. Don't shake your head. That's the weirdness. And now time for your dad joke of the week. Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. I'm Zachary Kellogg. You cannot make this stuff up. Lord knows I've tried.
Hello, I'm Luna Fawaz, and I'm happy to work.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Mediaplex Live.
On today's show, we've had contributions from
Sarah Werstein,
Dale Kabukian,
Saloni Chauhan,
G2,
Aman Patiar,
our sports guys are Cam Segan and Jesse LaRouche,
Vatsal Corsia,
Elliot St. Aubin,
and Jackson Bondi.
I'm Riley Livingston.
I'm Zachary Balog.
And I'm Ksenia Semenova.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.